What's up, world, and welcome back to another episode of Mix and Chat. I'm your boy Javi, here with my boys D-Lo
Yo, what's up?
and Cha Cha.
What up, what up, what up?
Omega Green is off tonight. Y'all ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
Let's get
Get
into
into
it. All right, so D-Lo, how you feeling?
Well, with the rain and everything. It's not bad. Not bad. Had a good day at work. Nice quiet day.
Good.
Pretty much just chill.
All right.
So,
Cha Cha, how you feeling?
Glad to be back, America. Glad to be back. It's another week. Got to enjoy the playoffs. Still working. Had a good day at work today. I'm glad that glad that it's almost a weekend. So yeah, glad to be back.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm feeling great. I moved into my little cubicle today, so I'm excited. Yeah. So y'all ready to do it?
let's get into it.
All right. So Cha Cha, what you got today?
Yeah. So I want to talk. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about Gen Z. You know, Gen Z is the age group if you born between 1997 and 2012, and there's a large number of firings that's happening now because the employers are saying that Gen Z just ain't getting it done. They're pretty much done with,
Oh, really?
hiring people straight out of high school, students straight out of high school. It's going to start decreasing. So there was a report that said 6 in 10 employers say that they have already sacked some of the Gen Z workers they hired fresh out of college in recent months. You know, I mean, that's a lot. Now, this is from intelligent.com. That's a platform dedicated to helping young professionals navigate the future of work. They had a survey. They surveyed 1,000 leaders, U.S. leaders, that is, and found that the class of 2024's shortcomings will impact future grads. So Gen Z is pretty
really?
much, they pretty much laying down a horrible foundation for other people that are, soon to graduate in the near future.
Y'all better get it together.
Get it together.
Well,
Get
I
it
think
together.
it's more or less that
Tighten
people,
up.
they have like an entitledness to them.
Oh yeah. But even that part, I mean, that is true that they feel entitled, but I think it's more of, and maybe the entitlement goes into it because it says that they lack motivation or initiative.
Yeah.
And then 50% of the leaders surveyed cited that they cited that as the reasons, is that they, lack motivation and initiative. And also said that they struggle with this generation's tangible challenges, including being late to work and meetings often, not wearing office appropriate clothing, and using language that's appropriate for the workplace. Now
They
that
won't wear
now
coochie
that is the
cutters to work.
entitlement part that we're talking about.
They won't wear coochie cutters to work.
Oh my
Well,
God.
they don't. They want to do more. They want to get more for doing less.
Yeah, they want to be TikTok famous.
Yeah.
Like it's not like what we grew up with.
They wanna be
It's
social
like
media
we grew up
stars.
with work ethic.
Yeah.
It just.
And think about it. I mean, you fresh out of college and you late to meetings. You fresh getting hired, but like you said, that's an entitlement because now with this era, they have a way of just sitting back thinking to themselves and thinking that this is a democracy in all situations. And it's not. Because just because you sit back and say, well, I know what they're going to talk about in this meeting, don't mean you have to be there on time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like people like. So when I was doing DoorDash full time, I'd read articles and stuff about what people would say about tipping DoorDashers, for instance. And some people were like, well, if you don't like the pay that you're getting at this job, then you need to talk to the people in charge. I'm like, what job do you know that you just go and be like, you know what? I think I deserve to get paid more.
TikTok. You put it. All you gotta do is sit there and talk to the people. You're gonna get paid. That's the type of. That's the type of trait that these
Yeah.
new workers have because they can get on social media and make it. So they're like, oh God, why do I have to do anything when I could just literally get online and make $100
Apparently, right now,
10
TikTok,
minutes.
they ain't doing nothing on TikTok right now. So.
Yeah, they are.
Well, it's back. It's back.
No,
It's back up.
it's
Yeah.
still back.
Back
It
in
was
full
up quick.
effect.
It was up quick. But check this
Couple
out.
hours.
So 3/4 of the leaders.
But I still got red note.
Oh yeah, keep that. Keep that.
But if you
3/4
downloaded
of the leaders
Mhm.
that did the hiring said that these Gen Z employees were unsatisfactory and unprofessional in a lot of different areas.
Yeah.
In some ways. And then they said that some of the bosses also pointed out that Gen Z was being unprofessional, unorganized, and having poor communication skills as their top reasons for having to sack the grads, to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
They're in the mindset like, I'm just gonna be me and that should just get me paid. Like, do the work.
Yeah.
Why get the job if you're not gonna put in the work?
Because they want to get paid
Easy
for not
money.
doing nothing. Yeah, they want
Yeah.
easy money, and life ain't easy. So
Then get the right degree.
yeah. I mean, you
Own your
know,
company and then sit back and let the peons work for you.
and I've talked to youth all the time at my church, and I try to talk. And what I talk to them about is breaking habits, because the things that you do now, they're going to carry over into your adult life. They
Yeah.
will become habits. So you've got to figure out a way to respect your authoritative figures. You have to, even if you think you're right, there's still a way about getting your point across without being disruptive, because what ends up happening is like I said, you lack communication skills.
There's a place and there's a time.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
that-
not how you.
well,
it's
also,
not what you say.
too-
It's how you say it.
Well, also too, it's also can be on their upbringing, on like what they was allowed to do and say to their parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
'Cause
they-
they-
you know,
Well,
good-
yes.
Yeah, because I mean, because there are some things I've heard some of these kids be saying to their parents. I'm like, I would never dare.
That
Oh,
belt would
God.
eat me up so
Like
fast.
I would like it'd be one of those things of like
And
it'd be like a Debo moment. I'd be quiet,
I'll
but
be-
when you walk away,
I'll be
talking
talking
again.
again,
Like,
Talking under my breath. What'd you say? Nothing.
None.
None.
Like,
But and that's the thing, man, because once again, this is not a democracy. You don't get to voice your opinion, but a lot of parents, they do.
Yeah.
They give their kids a say so and stuff. And I'm old school. Like I said, I'm Bernie Mac, chop you in the throat old school.
Right.
I'll give you a say so on which belt I'm about to pull out.
Man.
Yeah.
They're both leather. Which one you want? The one with the metal holes or the one with... No, I'm just saying.
So now the last point I'm going to make about this is the hiring managers. They've come to the conclusion that college grads are unprepared for the work world. Meanwhile, over 20%, and this is the Gen Z, say they can't handle the workload. They get in there and can't handle the workload. What do you expect?
Well, that I mean, and this is the problem that I have with the education. And this is the problem I had with education when I was growing up. That school really don't teach, like they tell you that they're trying to teach you and get you ready for the real world, but they don't.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like
different now.
Like they don't like. Well, even when I was young, like they didn't teach me nothing about credit. They didn't teach me nothing about getting, like loans, nothing like that. They didn't
Yeah.
teach me none of that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so that's cool. I got to learn algebra and all that. I don't be using algebra. I use regular math.
Yeah.
English. Okay, I can understand English being, a main.
And
course.
they actually had it in when I was coming up in like economics classes and stuff like that.
They had when I was in high school, they had like a special, like it was like an elective class that you can take, or it was an
Right.
after school class you can take.
So it wasn't really enforced, and that's the thing about it. When I was coming up, it was because now they took cursive writing out of school, and that's ridiculous.
Like when I
I had home ec.
when I was
Yeah.
in middle school, I had home ec, like where they taught you how to.
My
balance
freshman
it.
year of high school, I had home ec too.
But see, I
And
didn't
then
have.
they took it out right after.
Yeah, see, I didn't have it when I was in high school, but like when I was
That's
in
the
middle
one thing
school,
they
I
should
had
have
it.
mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, when I was in middle school, I had it. They taught you how to cook a little bit,
Mhm.
Cook, so
how to balance the checkbook.
Yeah, you
But at that-
reconciling.
But at that
Mhm.
time, like I was in 6th, 7th grade. I don't even know about checkbook. But when I got in high school, is when they need to start learning this stuff.
Yeah, they
And,
taught
and
us how to sew and everything.
so, and that's a communication gap between the educator and the student because, or the educational system, I want to say, because they need to make it, mandatory because how can you tell a child or a youngster, a young adult that, that what the importance of a checkbook and reconciling, and they don't even have a job yet.
Yeah.
They don't even know the value of a dollar. So you have to make it to where they have to learn it, but it's up to them to take it in.
Yeah.
There's a teacher that I seen a video of on Facebook. She treats her classroom like an office. Each student has their own desk and their own cubicle.
Mm-hmm.
The workload is your classwork.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get your classwork done and you get bonus points or whatever it is, that gives you PTO time. So say you come in and you throwing a tantrum, you don't feel like doing it today, and she says, do you have the PTO to cover this 40-point assignment that you have going on for today? This workload that you have is 40 points.
Yeah.
Do you have enough to cover it? And if they do, okay, you can take the day off. She'll give them like some coloring to do or something like that. But she treats it like a job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't make that money, you gotta stay. You don't get the amenities of going out to recess or having certain things that you like that everybody else gets.
Well, there was
That's smart.
There was a youth football coach.
That teacher's worth that.
Oh,
I think somewhere in Georgia there was a youth football coach who would take who ran a program for youngsters for to learn about credit, loans, stuff that you're gonna need to know like when you do become an adult. That.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, we didn't get taught, and we was out there signing up for credit cards and destroying our credit. And now we're
still paying it right now.
Like I'm still trying to get my credit back.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that you were saying about work ethic. So that system, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Because not only does it teach them, but you can also weed out the ones that's going to put forth the effort. Who's going to work for that recess?
Yeah.
Or that free time.
Yeah.
And then the ones that you see that aren't putting forth that effort, those are the ones you can give the extra to make them understand, like, okay.
But it's not even that. She said that she's seen that once they seen that they weren't getting the amenities that the other kids were getting with their work ethic, they wanted to catch up so they could have that time.
And it's
She said she also teaches them the fundamentals of life in her worksheets that she has, which is her workload. She says she gives them their math, she gives them their different things, but she also puts in their like basic amenity things that you need to for life. Yeah. That type of thing too. I was like, I needed to teach you like that.
Right.
I've seen the foul language in the break rooms. I've seen the not maintaining the dress code, and I've seen it. I see
it every day.
I've seen where
every day
they would come in
back talking.
There was a place that I worked. There was a place that I worked where they came to interviews in pajama pants and house shoes.
With their bonnets on.
And they got the job. Yeah. And they got the job, and what you got is what you pay for, and because they be in that break room. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Come on.
And
we gotta do better.
It's like even I work from home, and so the way some of these people be talking to leadership, like me and my group be like looking at each other like they just say that.
Yeah.
Like there was
you got me messed up. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, like there was one time where they told us, we can leave early, but it was right after so it was right after the 6 a.m. people took their lunch.
It's crazy.
And this one person was like, they was like, I'm on lunch, dog. Like,
oh my God.
Like, I was like, what? Like, y'all literally just said that to leadership.
Yeah, they have no filters. And I'm not going to say all of them, because you still have those ones that are actually out there getting it done. But everybody else is making it hard for them to even succeed, because now people aren't trying to hire those type of people. You're going to have to show your work ethic and what you present us at this interview, or we not giving it to you.
Yeah.
And one out of the 7 leaders, bosses that were surveyed, said that they admitted that they may avoid hiring them altogether next year. This is from 2024, so
This year.
so this year, 2025. There's a lot. You're gonna have to
Put in that work and show them that you legit.
I mean, even if you interview well, it may not even matter though.
Yeah.
It may not even matter because they after the interview they sell themselves, but then after the interview they think they've made it.
And that's the problem. I'm like, cause like I used to be able to sell myself in an interview, like, talking about
I still can.
talking about my work ethic, me being reliable and all that. But now it's like, even when I say that, they go like, okay, well that's what 20 other people just told me, and it's not the case. And it's like, come on now.
See, and I know this isn't relevant to what you were talking about, but in an interview, honey, I don't tell them what I want them to know. I don't tell them what I think they want to hear. I tell them who I am and what I'm going to do. There's no, if you give me this position, no. What I'm going to do when you hire me is this.
Yeah,
is this. This. And you can see the proof by asking the former employer what I said I was going to do.
And see, I will admit, I went through, I just like recently went through like a confidence in my ability to sell myself in interviews.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I suffered on that for quite a bit. Like,
confident.
I was getting tore down, but like once I like, it just, I don't know, there was just something that hit that I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say me. You know what I mean? But it just...
Look at you. You called it late. I called it at 30. You called it at 37, 38.
When you go through a phase of being between jobs, that's when it can hit you the hardest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's just, and so that was what brought it on, that in between jobs part, because, so it's easy to just say, you know what, this job is not it. They don't respect me as a man or a woman. They just don't. I've got great integrity in this. Yeah. Right. The integrity.
Look up.
So you say they're not respecting me, so I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks notice, and I'll be able to get back out there. And when you step out on faith, you have to trust yourself and be okay with it. May take longer than you expected. Mm-hmm. Don't let your confidence waver. Just know it's a dog eat dog world out here.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting for that same bone. Facts. So you might have to sit back for a little bit and maybe take some temp jobs that you really would never take, that you promised yourself you would never take, or you might have to, like you say, DoorDash or Uber and all of that. You might have to, do that. And so your confidence can waver just on that alone.
Yeah.
And it can happen.
Well, my confidence was hit the way I got let go from the previous job I was at. That's what got me. And then it was a shake up of, and that's another thing too. Like, jobs will literally, I got ghosted. Like, right after the interview, got ghosted. Like,
they
nothing.
must have thought you was a Gen Z.
I guess, or either that.
They must have thought you was
either that, or I was the last interview of the day, and they just got some Gen Z people in there, and it was like, you know what? Like, we ain't trying to hear nothing nobody's got to say today.
He's a Gen Z.
Yeah. The whole group's gone.
No. And it wasn't even 2025 yet. They just made an example out of you.
You was with a group of them, so we don't even want you either.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out of here. Yeah, but it was tough. And now look at him, y'all, America. He's bouncing back, y'all. He's bouncing back.
Hey, I love my job. I love the people I work with.
Selling for them.
Yeah,
selling for them.
So I'll say this, never let them see you sweat. Never let them take your confidence away, because in my eyes, if they ghosted you, that was not the job for you.
No.
The only time you want them to see you sweat is when you putting in that work.
When you're putting in that work.
Let them know you're going to put it in.
And that's where I get...
Nobody will ever outwork me.
Right.
Facts.
That's what I said.
I told him that in my interview, and 8 years later, I said, when you hire me, nobody here will ever outwork me. I told him that nobody.
And exactly what I tell you I'm gonna do. Yeah. Watch me do it.
I said if you need me to work 12 hours, I'm gonna work 13. If you need me to work 24, I'm gonna work 25, and you might as well get a cot, because I'm not going home.
Yeah.
And
that's why you at a hospital, we can sleep there.
That's what I told my boss, because I had a training for something new. That because I got late into production.
I was put late into this training that we doing.
Got you.
And but so I got into this training, and me and her, she was sitting there talking, and she was like, and the one thing that's really big right now is sometimes we don't know until later in the day how many hours we're working, which can kind of mess up your mind a little bit, because it's kind of like, it's like you're expecting an 8-hour day, and then suddenly they hit you with a 10, 11-hour day, and you're like,
oh boy.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's like, so I've gotten to a mind state now that's like, I already put my head into a 10-hour work day, and if I get to go home at 8, I get to go home at 8.
That's early work day.
But that's what I told my boss. I was like, that's what I do. You know, I prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I was like, but I'm one of those type of people that I don't care about working overtime. Yeah. I'll work overtime.
Get your grind on, America. Don't let nobody tell you differently. Get your grind on.
Yeah, that's money.
Don't ever give up. Your time is coming. So next,
he just said like, well, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. I was like, I don't know.
I think we beat this one enough.
I was like, are we gonna take a quick break? No. Okay.
I'm just saying, I kind of felt bad for Gen Z. I'm like, here, let me find a way to move on from them. They're already lacking in the workplace. I don't want to tear them down, kick them out of down.
Well, you said what the boss is gonna say to them. Okay, Nick.
Yeah. I was just trying to get a job, son. You know, dumb it down.
Tell your brethren, get it together.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we done with Gen Z, or what are we going?
Yeah,
what do y'all want to do?
Y'all want to beat a dead horse.
Yeah, we can't. It's just getting sad.
Yeah, I just listen, America. I had a moment. We're gonna take a break here, but I had a moment because I just felt like I was beating them into the ground, and that's just not me.
And we still love y'all. I got nieces and nephews that are Gen Z.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You just got some growing up to do.
And she's got a great work ethic.
There you go. That was him, America. That was D-Lo.
No, she's got a great work. Why can I not say that? She's got a great work
ethic.
No,
there's some that do. There's some, like I said, it's about how, honestly, it's about how you raise. You know what I mean? Like,
it's never personal.
There's still some parents nowadays that still keep it to the way they was raised in the old school way. You know what I mean?
When we come back, we gonna raise to another topic.
Yeah.
We love y'all, Gen Z.
Yes, never personal. It's just business.
Business as usual. See you in a second. Welcome back, world. So let's get into sports with Cha Cha and D-Lo. What's going on, Cha Cha? What's going on your field?
Well, let's talk about it. So, and then there were two. The Super Bowl. Yeah, the Super Bowl has been set.
Let's do it.
There was Kansas City, of course. We know they beat the Buffalo Bills 32-29. It was a back and forth, and once again. Oh yeah, well, I'm a Raider fan, so I pray for their downfall. What I really want to talk about though was the game of the day to me. Well, no, it really wasn't, but it could have been. The Washington Commanders with the rookie Jaden Daniels, who's had an outstanding season, and to me is the rookie of the year, against Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, and that ended up being a blowout. 34-23 in the third quarter. The Commanders cut into the lead, but one of their many turnovers. They had 4 turnovers.
Yeah,
they had 4 turnovers, and the Eagles had none. You just cannot win with turnovers on a team that's as high powered as the Eagles. They ended up winning 55-23. Wow. 55.
Yeah,
4 turnovers.
It was
Jalen Hurts. 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. He had 4 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns rushing.
I heard Kansas City Chiefs was going to win Super Bowl coming.
Oh, you heard somebody told you wrong.
I literally just heard you say that.
Oh, that's right. He's got the script. He's got the script that everybody be talking about.
Oh yeah. He's going to he's
Big
going
money.
to you at the officials training camp where they getting ready. Run up and down the field. Yeah.
And
he got the script straight from the referees.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
You know my uncle used to play for him.
Roughing the passer. Patrick Mahomes wasn't even in the game. They're on defense. The referees, he didn't go to training camp.
Yeah.
He didn't go to training camp.
So, D-Lo, what's going on your side of sports?
Well, coming off the bye week, we had Vanderbilt on Saturday, and then we played Tennessee on Tuesday, which we lost to Vanderbilt. Speaking of turnovers, once again, you can't win when you had a lot of turnovers.
Yep.
We had 17. It just was a bad game. It was coming off of, like I said, coming off a bye week. It was an away game.
I hate those.
People, I don't know what, and there's some people that's talking trash about some of our players, and it's like any other team, like there is no team that comes off a bye week on the road and completely smashes it out. Like they gonna run into some trouble. They're not play ready.
And Vanderbilt had already upset Tennessee.
Yeah.
So they were on a high.
Yeah.
They were on a high.
And then so it's just, we was 26 from 54 from the field, which I mean Vanderbilt really wasn't all that great neither. They had 29 to 66. They
were horrible. We just couldn't close it out. The last 2 minutes of the game, we didn't score.
We had 12 more turnovers. That's all it was. I say we didn't have that many turnovers, we would have won that game.
Yeah, right. And we were right there, and we were still right there at the end.
Yeah.
We were right the last 2 minutes, same as the game with Alabama. But let me give you a fun fact before you go into the Tennessee game. Okay. So you seen the fans storm the court, right?
Yeah.
You know that was a $500,000 fine.
Yeah, they actually paid that to UK.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. I seen a picture on the internet of the AD. She's up in the stands begging she's got her hands together telling them it's a still shot, but you can tell she's literally trying to tell them, please don't storm the court. Please don't, because when they stormed the court against Tennessee's. So that's $500,000. That's $1 million in 2 games that they've had to give, and the other opposing school gets the money. It used to not.
Yeah, it used to not be like that. It was a fine from the league.
So that's that $500,000. That's NIL money that UK can use to get another recruit.
No.
So yeah, y'all keep on rushing the court, Vandy.
Right.
See what's gonna happen.
And come on down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's expected now because it's always expected because when teams beat a team like Kentucky, they're going to storm the court because it's like their championship. It's kind of like when we play Arkansas and we beat Arkansas, they're probably going to storm the court.
Oh, we ain't storming the Rupp. We ain't storming. They're not having that.
Yeah, no.
We're not having that. Not at the Rupp Arena.
No, we actually have cops at Rupp.
Keep your ass up there.
Plus, don't nobody care about that. It's championship or bust for us. We don't storm the floor. We don't storm the floor for stuff like that.
Well, no, and that's the one big thing right now. Like they're trying to tell people not to boo for the Arkansas game for Calipari.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And I don't see the point.
You wouldn't?
Nah,
I wouldn't even acknowledge that he's a.
I don't even see the point.
I wouldn't clap for him, but I'm not gonna boo him either.
Yeah. And, a lot of people are like, well, don't forget what he did for the school. I'm like, he had a good 5
He didn't do nothing for the school. He did it for them players.
He had a good 5 years. And then the last 5 years was crap. Like, let's be real.
Well, how many years was he here? 15?
Oh, yeah. So he had good 5 years, and the last 10 years
was okay.
Yeah.
And then it just was going downhill.
Yeah.
Because he was tired.
I mean, he got us to the Final Four like 4 times in a row. Well, not in a row, but at least 4. We have 4 Final Four appearances with 1 championship, but we have such good players.
Yeah, like with the caliber of players that he had coming in, we should have won more than 1 championship.
I think Duke would have. Won. That they've shown what they can do with. And what's his name? Krzyzewski didn't believe in the one and dones right away.
Yeah.
And then he started getting them and.
He was too hasty to let people go. Like he wouldn't talk to him like, hey, I think you should stay. He already told him, no, your scholarship's already gone. Go ahead, go to the NBA.
Go feed your family.
Yeah.
He's saying go feed your family. Like I said, he's thinking and some of them would really be thinking about staying. And he's like, wow. He's like, let me worry about that.
And they wouldn't even be ready for the next.
That's
week.
not fair, right? And that's not fair to the ticket holders. I understand what you're trying to do, Coach Cal, but you've got people that pay for these tickets and pay good money. Season ticket holders.
I wonder how many of them actually went to the NBA and then regretted it.
Probably a handful of them.
All of them in the G League.
Yeah. Or the ones that's not even the ones that's playing overseas, or that's not even playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, I wish I was.
Because he put a lot of players in the NBA. You know how there's only a handful of players that actually are still in the NBA making noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And anyways, we got way off topic there. I'm sorry we got on.
Sorry, we always do. Arkansas's coming up on the horizon. But let's talk about the Tennessee game.
So we played Tennessee. That was a home game. No, we played them.
That was down in Knoxville, Rocky Top.
We played them at home in February. That's right.
Hey.
But so we won that. It was,
and we gonna need it again.
They got this work.
They did.
That's what happened.
If y'all can
They
see how
got
serious,
this work.
If y'all can see how serious his face is when he's giving them this work.
They got that work.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They made a little run.
They did. They made it tough for us. I mean, it was 78 to 73.
Now that's the one we was watching in here.
Yes, when I said I had to get home because it was getting a little bit. It was getting too much for me. I got to. Yes, I'll be having the dogs and Tamara and everybody running down the street. What's wrong with Uncle Cha-Cha?
But yeah, so I mean, we had a little better game on that one. You know, it's still, of course, there's still going to be work need to be done.
I think that we did a lot because if you didn't watch the game, America, I don't know, but we were down 2 starters, and Carr got in for a second, but he's been having back problems, so he didn't play. He played probably a minute, and then Butler, our point guard, and he's got experiences. We got him through the portal. He was on San Diego State last year. He got a chance to go to the Final Four.
Yeah,
and play. And so we could have used him, but we definitely showed that we could play better without Carr, because I think Carr was that X factor. We could have used him against Vanderbilt. I think he made the difference. I think that he would have cut down on the turnovers.
Yeah.
We were adjusting to playing without him, and I think against Tennessee, we kind of showed that. Even though we had a lot of turnovers, but the three was we was knocking them down, and I'm gonna keep saying this: Pope trusts his bench, and it makes a difference. Yeah. Imagine if you're playing for a coach and you might get a scholarship, but you're the 8th or 9th man on the roster that may get in the game. Pope don't care. You getting in there.
Yeah.
And that's going to make you work harder than you ever have, and you're going to stay ready. You don't have to get ready when you stay ready. Yeah. And these boys stay ready. These young men stay ready because Pope is going to point to them and say, get in there.
Yep.
But in Calipari, he just didn't do that. He lost a lot of players mid-season. I mean, and these would be players that were stars for their high school. They were highly recruited. They blue chippers, 4- and 5-star recruits. And he's sitting them on the bench, got them playing out of position, number one.
Yeah. You're playing way out of position.
Out of position playing. You got a swing man playing in the post.
Yeah.
He don't want to be down there. Let him do what he does.
He had Big Z playing on top of the key.
Man. So what do you expect him to do? He's gonna underachieve because he's out of position, and then you bench him for that. And then he doesn't see the game for 2 or 3, he doesn't see the floor for 2 or 3 games. But even worse, you come out and you have the game of your life, and it may just be 9, 10, 11, 12 points, 5 rebounds, but you shot well and you helped the team win on the road, and you don't get back on the floor again. You still don't get back on the floor, and that's crazy.
The one thing I do like about Pope is he don't take players out while they're in the middle of a run.
Mm-hmm.
If they're on the run, he lets them run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see him get in their ass a little bit more though.
Yeah.
You know, that Rick Pitino style. Don't be screaming and yelling while they on the floor. I couldn't stand that with Calipari. He just I saw you just hear him hooping and hollering, but Rick Pitino, he wait till the timeout and get in your face. You know, but I would like to see a little bit more of that from Pope. I don't know if he has it in him, but
we don't
like these young boys.
we don't see what he does when they go into the locker room. Either,
Right,
so.
right. Well, I see it on the sideline, so I know what he's doing in the locker room. He ain't doing jack. He's a motivator. He's a nurturing, encouraging coach. Is what he is. Is what he is. It ain't nothing wrong with that. If you can get the players to buy in, but every now and then, you might have to get in their ass because of their turnovers.
Yeah.
What I tell you in practice, here, you come over and sit down with me, and then you talk to them, then you let them go on back in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes the substitution pattern gets me worried, but I like where we are. I mean, and Tennessee was a top 10 team. Another one bites the dust.
Yep.
Another ranked team, another quad 1 win. And we started with 0 players. They all went with Cal, all of them, or to the NBA. And so when Pope got here, we had nothing, nada.
And I think our freshmen are going to stay at Kentucky, and I think they'll do something good. I think they'll be better next year.
Yeah.
And they're
when he'll get him some big men. He'll get him some big men that can really. The big men that we have are 4s that want to play point, and they do all right, but we need they ain't got a shot. They really don't have a shot in the post. They don't have a turnaround. They shot put it like they at the Olympic trials.
Not the Olympic trials.
So I mean, like I said, I knew coming off of the bye week it was gonna be rough, but I'm glad we got that win against Tennessee. Next thing we got is Arkansas, so
they gonna get this work.
Period.
I don't think Calipari's ready for a team that Pope has.
I heard his star players hurt too. The guard, his freshman guard, he got a freshman guard that was really, really good, and I think he's hurt. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But a win is a win.
Yeah.
A win is a win.
I ain't taking nothing away from it, and I ain't beating them down for it. It is what it is. We got the win. We lost the win. We got the win. So
exactly a win. It's like when you got a group of females lined up, and you got a 10 over here, and you got a 5 over here, and you can get that 5. Take that 5, cause a win is a win. Take that 5. You ain't gotta have that dime piece. When they see you with that 5, them 10's gonna want you, cause they're gonna be like, what's he about? And then when they see what you got to offer, you'll get you a dime if you want it. But get that 5. A win is a win. Get that 5, man. Get that 5, man. Get that 5. A win is a win.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will dive into a whole nother segment. A different realm.
Yeah. What's going on in the world today?
All right. See you in a second. So welcome back, and for my segment today, I wanted to dive into like a little bit of the spiritual realm and kind of what was that? And kind of get what the spirituals are saying about the whole Elon Musk wanting to go to Mars, because it's being interpreted differently by different people. Some spirituals are saying that Mars isn't a physical place. Some are saying that it's the root chakra in the form of going up. It's the root chakra, and Earth is the heart chakra. But this is where they mix. They're saying like Elon is wanting to take us to Mars, and Mars is a different realm in time. It's of Earth's past. So like it's the failed Earth. And it was a failed Earth because of the transhumanism, where they took technology over your soul, like your humanity. It's where humans and technology collide.
So it ended. I mean, so it existed at one time.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're saying that Mars is around the past Earth. So like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like
Okay.
it's coming from. They're saying Elon is wanting to take us back to that same realm as far as like where we are now, where we're at Earth. The next step for us would actually be Jupiter.
Where slavery existed. No, I'm just kidding.
No, essentially yes. Essentially
Different.
yes. Where it's war, famine, everybody's out for
Old
themselves.
school time.
Technology is
That's really
like,
interesting.
Yeah. And then like, but we're actually trying to get to Jupiter. If you look at it as far as like the chakras go, Jupiter would be the next chakra for us to hit, because that's like in the biblical sense the New Jerusalem. Like, so it's saying that Jupiter is the realm that we should be leveling up to and not going back to Mars. And then there's others that say that, oh, Mars is actually colonized by the humans and it looked completely different and the humans were there, and then nuclear war happened and it destroyed that planet, but we got off in time and came here, so we're actually aliens of this planet and we're from Mars. And then you have people to say that Mars isn't actually a real physical place that you can go to when it's coming from Elon.
That's a lot.
So I heard a theory that the civilization on Mars kicked in where we came, like made us as an experiment, and then they failed, and then we end up thriving.
Succeeding past them.
Yeah. Well, not really succeeding past them, but just like
Thriving and becoming the new.
like we came into our own.
Yeah, as
But-
they were going away.
I mean, we're still heading into the same direction, honestly. Just...
So the theory is, as far as with Mars being a realm, they say the Earth has different paths and different like timelines that it can take, and that each planet represents a different path or a different timeline for Earth to take. And the next one is essentially supposed to be Jupiter. And if we go to the Mars timeline, that's going backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
So what
And
does that
not
sound like to you, D-Lo? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear about the various timelines and going into the past?
Multiverse.
There it is. I'm thinking, the multiverse.
Yeah, I mean,
we might have doppelgangers out there, people.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I'm a big believer on
Like they literally
time
said we're supposed
travel,
to turn into Jupiter.
multiverses.
Yeah.
I'm really big into that type of stuff. Like it just like I find it interesting to have a multiverse time theory be correct, to where and it can also go into the whole what is it, the simulation theory,
Mhm.
that we're big simulation. Well,
Yeah.
it could be thousands of simulations,
Mm-hmm.
which could be the multiverse.
Yeah.
But
My
But she's
dad used to say
saying-
that.
And then one of the spirituals said, if you look at it on the scale of the Milky Way galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy is this big thing. In the middle of it is the mother, which is essentially feeding all the knowledge down throughout the Milky Way galaxy to all these different, like, where we are, our solar system.
Right.
So if you look at us on the Milky Way in the big bang of things, we're on the outskirts of that super intelligent being in the middle,
yeah,
where the black hole's in the middle of that. That big light in the middle is feeding down, down, down. So people get so frustrated with, like, why are we not more advanced in technology? It's because we are still getting that download from that light. We're so far out that it hasn't reached us yet. If we were closer or moving closer, it comes at a pace.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people like feel like, okay, I'm too advanced for what I'm doing, or I'm too advanced for where being here.
Gen Z, boy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gen
It's
Z.
a whole big thing.
Sorry.
Different spirituals have different mindsets on it, have different theories on it. Some people say it's all about the chakra. Each planet represents a chakra that you're trying to reach, and you're trying to reach enlightenment, which is the top chakra. and that Mars is the root chakra.
Okay.
So, but that also goes with right now they are saying that there's scientists saying that they have witnessed the first Dyson sphere. So what you was talking about is
The first what?
Dyson sphere.
Oh.
So basically, the way NASA has it, or the way the science community has it, there's different types of civilizations. Type 1 is a civilization that's able to get energy from its own planet. Okay. Type 2 is a civilization that's able to get energy from its host star. And then a type 3 is to be able to consume direct energy from like a black hole. And so a Dyson sphere, it's basically a type 2 civilization, like where it basically be like a Death Star hovering around the star, getting energy from it, collecting energy so it can maintain itself and then move on to another star.
Okay.
And so they saying that right now they have witnessed they think they have seen a few Dyson spheres that they're monitoring.
Just see if it's coming to suck us alive.
Well, I mean, they don't know what it is. You know, it could be
It's an alien planet.
It could be.
It's an alien planet. Yeah.
it could be. It could be a civilization
planet
that goes around conquering other planets. It could be one that is peaceful, then one enlightened planet. You know, the civilizations on other planets. You know, we never know. The one thing I know is they probably ain't gonna pay too much attention to us because we're destructive as human beings. That's our nature, is to be destructive.
I don't know, because they might be monitoring or from where they are, but
if they're monitoring, they're laughing.
yeah, for sure. So you don't say that they might not come here because they might think we dumb as a box of rocks to come here and conquer us.
I mean,
so
and some say that they already have because there's an alien base that runs everything on at the North Pole.
girl. Antarctica.
So, and then there's an alien base on the moon. That's why we haven't been back there.
But we're not talking about aliens. We're talking about the state of being that he wants us to go into. But speaking of aliens, they have seen a lot more UFOs in the world.
Well,
recently.
My dad used to say, if you think that we're the only life form in this galaxy, that you out of your mind.
Yeah.
So I wholeheartedly believe it. I can't see us being the only life force.
No.
In the whole entire whatever.
Everything.
Yeah, especially being the only intelligent life out there, and we're really not that intelligent. But yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of different theories out there, and it's pretty interesting theories once you get into it.
Yeah, and I thought that the spirituals really had some interesting takes on what Elon said when he did that gesture that he did. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's an interesting theory, you know, especially with the whole chakra, and because then that's where you get people that like can like go out of their bodies. I forget what it's called, and go and experience like other places.
Oh, what is it called? I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But so it's. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting theory.
Yeah. And that's why I brought it up, because I thought it was interesting. But moving on, my next topic is not such a interesting one. It's more of I send my condolences type of situation. So last night, and this is the date that I'm referring to, is January 29th, Wednesday, January 29th at 9 p.m. An American Eagle flight that was flying from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C., which had a couple of elite figure skaters on it that were coming back from camp. It had a mid-air collision with a Black Hawk helicopter. A military helicopter. There was 3 passengers on the helicopter, including it was 3 people, period, on the helicopter. There were 64 total souls on the American Eagle flight. It was flight 5342 from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C. And American Eagle is a subsidiary plane, so they're smaller planes. They typically are the CRJ 500, 600, 700s, or 900s. And I used to actually work for the company, PSA Airlines, that the actual plane that was involved in the collision. I used to work for that airline, and that was actually my route back then. So
Wow.
it kind of hits home. And real, like, I don't know if I know the flight attendants or the crew that was on board, just because I did work there for a really long time, and that I don't know. But we're still learning more, and they've actually, as far as when I looked last, they had pulled 30 bodies out of the water.
Yeah, they're still looking for the black box and the mission box.
Yeah.
And then right now,
So it went down in the Potomac River, you guys. I
Right.
didn't mention that, but yeah. It went down in the Potomac River, so when he says they're still looking for it, now you know why. It's because it's in water.
And then
Yeah.
they
This
now
time of year.
the FAA is saying that the tower was not normal. Like, it wasn't the normal people that's usually in there. So
what I heard was the helicopter was repeatedly being told to do it differently, to go behind the plane, to go around the plane. So it's either we get mixed stories. So they need to figure it out. We need these boxes.
Well,
I'm not saying nothing until I found the boxes.
Yeah.
That's the that was the latest one that they were saying as y'all was coming over.
Okay.
So
It's going to be a lot to unpack over
Yeah.
the next. I mean, it's.
So this is just
it's
me
a lot.
bringing y'all the update. This literally happened last night.
Yeah, and
But-
it's just sad. I mean,
Rest
Wichita.
in peace, and my condolences go out to those
Amen.
families, the
Yeah.
airline,
Yeah,
friends, and hell, I might even be saying condolences to myself because I don't know if I know the people that was working the flight
right.
or
Right.
somebody that might have been on it.
Yeah.
You never know.
Right.
But there was some, and when I say elite, these are people that figure skated in the Olympics
Mhm.
that were on that flight going.
Yeah, there
home.
was a young figure skating duo that was on that plane that they actually just won first place in their competition.
Yeah,
Before
there was
got-
14 figure skaters in all.
Yeah.
And it's sad because Wichita to DC is not a long flight. It's not. It's not a long flight from Wichita to DC.
People are finding this hard to believe that it's a freak accident. And for Donald Trump to respond the way he did, and I swear to God, I did not want to say the man's name this whole episode, but we're here. The way he responded by saying like, "What do you want me to swim to them?"
They asked him, was he going to go to the crash site?
Well, that and just blaming it on Biden
Yeah.
and Obama. Like,
He's
Obama,
reckless.
Like,
Yeah.
That's the narcissism in him. Instead of him just wanting to, say something decent and be a decent human being for a change, and just
He's doing it. Like
just say, my condolences. He wants to uplift his the Republicans and his
try to make him
team
look
and
better and make us
I
look
mean,
more
it's like you
calm.
said, character matters.
his cabinet. He wants to praise his cabinet and say, yeah, this was on Biden's
It was
watch.
ours.
The DEI. I mean, he's actually blaming DEI. Saying the DEI hirees
But the
had
thing
something
is,
to do with this.
Something else I found out: the FAA, the person that was in charge of the FAA, the head person, he resigned after Biden.
Yeah.
When Trump took office, he had resigned. So there's currently no president of the FAA. So
Yeah.
that's another big thing that happens.
Don't nobody want to work with that monster.
Yeah. So
It's
it's a lot to unpack and unfold, and as it develops, I'll keep you guys posted, and I'm sure y'all gonna do y'all research or see something. So
Yeah.
we will definitely keep you posted. But that's all I have for now. But when we come back in just a second, we will get Cha Cha's thought of the week.
All right.
See you in a second.
What's up, America? What it is. So I'm gonna close this thing out today. My thought of the week, it's more of a testimony. I have a friend that his mother has been in a coma. I can't tell you exactly for how long. I know it was longer than a week. It's been a while. And the doctors told him, she's not gonna make it. That was the first thing. And then she started showing signs of life. Now, he just told me about this yesterday because, I was thinking that he was calling me to let me know that, this is it. We had to take her off the ventilator because I knew about her condition, her situation, that she was in the coma. So, and I just been kind of giving him his space. I text him every now and then because it's his mom. And, nobody wants to, sometimes there's just nothing you can really say. You just have to give them their space. And when the time is right, you jump back in there. And so that's the call that I thought I was receiving from him. And when I said, hey man, how you doing? I was kind of somber. And he said, oh man, I'm just enjoying life. God is good. And I'm thinking, hey, he's gotten over this fairly quickly. So then he had to go. He had to quickly hang up because he told me his mother's calling him. And I said, okay, there's something he's not telling me because his mom has been in a coma. And he told me that he wasn't getting her back. When the last time I talked to him, because that's what they told him. So now he got some splaining to do.
Right.
You got some splaining to do. So he called me back. And I kind of was able, now I'm feeling a little more confident. So that was your mom, so she's doing better. And he was like, bruh, oh man, let me tell you. So now I can go into the story. So
let's sue this hospital. No, I'm just playing. I'm telling me my mom was about to die.
Yeah, I mean, he said that the doctors told him that it was over. And so that's what he told me. And then he said that over time, look, she was a little better. But they said even if she pulls through this coma, that she was going to be a vegetable. Now, here's where the story gets good. So he said he's delusional. He's all over the place. Mm-hmm. And his mom has a significant other. The significant other, his name is, they call him Papa Charlie. Papa Charlie. And so he said Papa Charlie grabbed him by his shoulders, turned him around to face him and told him, don't you listen to what these doctors are telling you. You can't always trust in what they're telling you. And the next thing he said was, just watch what God does. Watch what God does. And so from that point on, he said there was a calmness over him. And so she's been on a ventilator and had a tube down her throat. Mm-hmm. He said that when they took that tube out of her throat, she came to, and the first thing she said was, get me out of here. He said he dropped to his knees and he cried. He said he was blowing snot bubbles. He was thanking Jesus. He was thanking because he told me about a conversation that he had with God because he recently lost his sister. Well, when I say recently, maybe in the last 2 year and a half, he lost his sister. So he said he had a conversation with God, saying like, okay, God, you want me to believe you, that you exist, well, show me. He said he had this kind of conversation. And my point to this story is, and this is my thought of the week.
Is this a true story, Cha-Cha?
Yes, I just had this conversation with him yesterday.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
He called me yesterday. Yeah, it's true.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I told him that I was going to be telling this story. I just didn't know where. I said, this is real life testimony stuff. And I mean, that's all I kept saying on the phone was, wow. I said, man, that is amazing. And I'm happy for him because he got his mom back. And I know how he feels about her, about his family anyway.
I want to talk to his mama and be like, so why did you say get me up out of here?
Right.
Did they do this
on
purpose?
She must have been feeling something while she was, something was, she was, and that's the question. Like, could you feel
Everything that was going
What that
on.
was, could you
Yeah,
hear
like
and
what
feel what
happened.
was going on? This
Yeah.
with this tube. Yeah, she said. Now he did say that, you know, with her being in the coma, she was in it for a significant time, maybe a month, if that, and that's a lot. He said, you know, she's gonna have to do rehab, physical therapy to learn how to walk again. You know,
Yeah.
she's in her 70s.
Okay.
So,
For sure.
and he said, but that's nothing for, you know, for her. You know, the fact that she's fully cognitive and
Yeah.
everything. So he's like, that's not gonna be nothing compared.
get me up out of here.
Get me. She said, and then she called. She got a nickname that she calls him. She said, "Get me up out of here." And she said, "Oh, there's my superhero," or something like that. And that's when he dropped it. She knew who he was and everything. And so, my point to this is, and my thought of the week behind it is, you know, America, I want to ask you, what do you believe in? Because the way that the world is today, you have to believe in something more than just science. The science is the doctor part, and we can trust in the doctors. We can trust in what they say, but they're not always right. And trust me, I know. I work in the medical field. I work with cancer patients. My ex-girlfriend's father, he's a cancer survivor. They gave him 6 months, and this was, I want to say 8 or 9 years ago. He's still alive and kicking.
Right.
You know, and so my thing is America, you know, believe in something. Believe in something, because the way that the world is today, you know, you just never know. Give yourself something to hang on to. Give yourself a reason to be a better person. Give yourself a reason to love others. Give yourself a reason to not get down on yourself and not believe in yourself. Give yourself a reason to think that you belong and that there's a reason why you're here. And I'm not saying, I believe in God. I believe, and you know, I'm a Christian, and you know, I work with the youth of my church, and the world, the way that the world is today, and in my upbringing, you know, there's things that I could have been better about, and there's things in my adult life that I made bad decisions. So I just work on that. But I know now that believing in something allows me the strength to say, you know what, that's not right. It gives me better discernment. Allows me to make better decisions. If I trust in my faith in something, it gives me the opportunity. If somebody wants me to go out here and rob a bank, and I'm gonna say no, my faith don't allow for that, because God is watching and He doesn't, and I want to take my place in the kingdom. Everybody don't have to believe that. But from the testimonies that I get to hear and have the opportunity to bear witness to, you know, it allows me to maintain my faith in God. I'm not saying that that's what you have to do or that's what you do, but believe in something. Give yourself a chance to maintain who you are and not fall in through the cracks of obscurity. And that's my thought of the week.
And I mean, for some people, that's all it is to believe, just to wake up the next day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Trust. You got to trust in something, because you don't wake up on your own. There's people that are fully healthy. They drop dead at the drop of a hat, and they don't know why. They never figure out why. You got to trust in something.
And then they won't scream old age. He was only 27.
Right.
Natural causes. What's natural
What's
about
natural?
that
He was a trainer. He was a personal trainer. What happened?
All right. Well, with that being said, I'm your boy Javi, here with my boys D-Lo
Yo.
and Cha-Cha.
What up?
Don't forget Omega was off tonight. But we'll see you next time.
Next time,
See you soon.
Peace.
wax on, wax off.